Hello and welcome to the Targeting Doctors Mastermind series. Here you'll find advanced marketing campaigns to generate physician leads and prospects. I'm Dr. Vicki Rackner, your host. I'm going to assume that you're already familiar with the concepts presented in the Cracking the Physician Code course. You know the basics about how to acquire physician clients and keep them for life. Why are advanced marketing strategies so important? Well, think about the last time that you made a purchase. Maybe you wanted to go to a new restaurant or book a new hotel. Somebody told you about this book, The Power of Why, and you went to Amazon to order it. How do you actually make your purchasing choices? Chances are good that you took a look at the customer reviews. That's because we know that consumers care what their peers think. Your very best marketing tool is a delighted physician client who tells colleagues about you. However, you've got a core challenge. You are not allowed to use testimonials. How do you answer the question that's in your prospect's mind? Why should I listen to you? Today you're going to learn about one marketing solution, which is gaining credibility through being quoted in print media. So the whole point of this campaign that I'm about to lay out today is to get some more credibility that you could have gotten with a testimonial if you could use them. When you're quoted in the print media, you get an implied third-party endorsement. Let's start with, what will print media do for you? Well, it positions you as the expert. It also confers a celebrity status. It enhances your medical magnetism, and it offers this third-party endorsement. What are some myths about print media? Well, the first is that it's expensive. When some people think about print media, they think about buying advertising, which is very expensive. We're talking about something totally different. We're talking about getting you quoted as the expert in print media. Second, you need some academic credentials or special qualifications in order to be quoted. That's absolutely untrue. Journalists are looking for people in the trenches to tell their stories. Third myth is that you need a publicist, and while you might choose to hire a publicist at some point, I'm going to show you how you can get quoted without that expense. The fourth myth is that being quoted is a cure-all. Getting quoted in the print media is just one more thing that you can do to build your medical magnetism, your ability to attract your best fit clients to you. What are 4 ways to get quoted in the media? Well, you can respond to journalist queries, submit press releases, pitch a story to a journalist, or submit articles for publications. And I'm going to talk about each of these 4 tactics today. Let's talk about the first tactic. Respond to journalist queries. Financial news is front page news every day. Journalists need the experts, and you have the knowledge and experience that journalists need. You can sign up for a free service called HARO, Help a Reporter Out, and every day you'll get the queries that journalists put out there. The service that I use and have used for the past decade is PR Leads. It's like a dating service between journalists under deadline who need to talk with an expert and the experts themselves. When you subscribe to this service that costs less than $100 a month, you get fed targeted leads by journalists who are interested in what you have to say. Here are a few queries that I pulled out of my inbox. A journalist from Consumer Reports wants somebody to comment on 401k return. Here's something from the Daily Worth about financial phobias. Here's a query from Medical Office Today, a publication many physicians read. Each day, I invest maybe 15 or 30 minutes going through these leads and responding to journalists. Here's why I've subscribed to PR Leads for the past decade. First, you get to think like a journalist. Journalists understand what kinds of stories are going to interest readers. If you study what journalists are talking about and how they're talking about it, chances are much better that you're going to be able to engage your physician prospects and clients. Second, you can spot trends. Third, I personally have gotten great results, which makes this a high ROI marketing investment for me. Last, Dan Janelle is a terrific resource who's enriched my understanding of the print media over the past decade. Here's what you need in order to be successful in responding to journalist queries. First, you've got to have something interesting to say, and journalists love contrarians. Next, you've got to know how to say it, And in this mastermind series, I will be having an expert who talks about how to craft sound bites. Next, you need to know your limits. You wouldn't give the same financial advice to all of your clients. It's customized for their unique needs. Next, regular execution is important. Remember, no one thing that you do is going to make a landmark difference in your practice building. It's the constant dripping of little improvements that add up over time. Here are some pearls of wisdom that I've picked up over the years. First is identify key journalists who write stories your best fit clients read. So just talk with your physician clients, ask them what publications they read, and ask them if they like any special kind of stories. Then you can follow that journalist on Twitter or LinkedIn and join conversations there. If a journalist writes a great article, send them a compliment. Say something nice. Certainly, if a journalist quotes you, be sure to send a thank you note. Here's a screenshot from the AMA publication, so you can look at any given journalist and get a list of the kinds of stories that they're interested in. Tactic number 2 is submitting press releases. So in other words, you write a story about yourself, submit it to the wire, and see what news organizations pick up on it. There are some people who prefer press releases over responding to journalist queries. I say, why not do both? I spend about $30 a month on expertclick.com. You can submit up to 1 press release a week. Tactic number 3 is pitch stories. Talk with a journalist about an idea that you've got for a story. So you want to be sure to read the publication and pitch stories that fit. The 4th tactic is submit articles for publication. Let's say, for example, you want to be quoted in Medical Economics. Here's where you can mine some good information. Usually you want to look for a tab that's for advertisers. Since I couldn't find any, I chose the Contact Us tabs, which then took me to this list of publications. I then chose Medical Economics, and from here, the words that you want to look for to search on are things like editorial or advertising. Here's their editorial calendar. Normally, journalists work on stories about 3 or 4 months in advance, but you would know when to approach journalists to pitch your particular story. One of my advisors said to me, "I don't think you understand. I don't want national exposure. I just want to work with doctors in my area." Well, remember, this is not a direct lead generation technique. This is a technique to gain more credibility and a third-party endorsement, and here's how you do it. First, you could put media icons on your website that reflect where you've been quoted. You can thank the publishers on Twitter. It's a gracious thing to do, recognizing the other publication, and it also lets people who follow you know that you've just been given this honor. You can send out a press release saying that you've been quoted in these publications and here's what you had to say. You can send reprints to clients and prospects. And you can even take a yellow highlighter and accent your quotes. Now, let me caution you. You want to make sure that you respect the intellectual property. In many cases, you will be asked to purchase reprints. Please do that. Just conduct yourself with integrity so there's never any question. Last, you can mention it in conversations. If a physician asks you a question, you can say something like, "Well, that is a fascinating question. When I was interviewed about that topic for Medical Office today, here's what I had to say." So all of these things say you are the expert. You've got that third-party endorsement because journalists are talking with you. So on your homepage, in lieu of the testimonials, you can have this collection of icons. In summary, today we talked about how you can get quoted in print media and use that as a third-party endorsement to help you generate more interest in what you have to offer. If you'd like to learn more about acquiring physician clients, here's what you can do. Go to my website, www.targetingdoctors.com, and sign up for my free marketing tips. Visit my blog while you're there and watch the videos. Join the conversation at the Targeting Doctors LinkedIn group. Thanks again for stopping by. Feel welcome to contact me if there's any way that I can help you acquire more physician clients and keep them for life.